Welcome to Kingdom Conversations. Today I got a special guest. I'm here with my guy, Israel, aka Izzy, as many people call him.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on here.
What's up, my brother? I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Going here today. We're just gonna have a conversation. I'm just sharing a little bit about Izzy, getting to know him, his story, what God's doing in his life, and I'm so excited, for him, what he's gonna share. So I hope this blesses you. Tuning in to Kingdom Conversations. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Man, I'm happy.
Izzy. All right, Israel. So just tell me a little bit about your upbringing, brother. Just
sure.
Where you're from, your family. How do people get to know you a little bit? So
okay. So originally I'm from Toledo, Ohio. Was raised there, and I say that because I was actually born overseas, born in Germany.
Germany.
Yeah, Stuttgart, Germany. So both of my parents were in the military. So I was only there for about 6 months. My mom brought me over here to America to live with my auntie. So she's from Toledo. So that's when I initially came to Toledo. Then when they got out, we stayed there. Essentially, my dad's actually from Buffalo, New York. So family's kind of spread out.
Snow capital.
Yeah, literally. So then from there, I spent most of my life, all my life until I turned about 18 and went to college in Toledo.
Okay.
So I would tell people I grew up in the church, but I didn't necessarily always have a relationship with God.
Okay. Explain that a little bit. Like, where your parents, did you go to church on Sundays? Were you in like the, the choirs and like the youth group and all that? But
so yes.
How did you know about church but didn't really have a close relationship with Jesus? Or like, how did that distinction happen?
Okay. So, perfect question. So I would say one instance is that I really didn't know the gospel like that growing up. And I feel like you get taught a lot, you get preaching, but I think growing up you didn't necessarily hear the gospel a lot, or I didn't pay attention a lot. Because when I was young enough, I was in children's church. So we just watching movies, they got stuff like that, get a snack, and we cool. Then when I got too old for children's church, when I'm in regular church, man, after the choir sings, bro, I'm just trying to stay awake for the sermon. Like, I can't wait till altar call so I can put my head down and take a nap while they're praying. So I was always at church on Sundays. And then my uncle became a pastor. So we left the church. We started off at Indiana Missionary Baptist Church. Then my uncle became a pastor. Yep, all in Toledo. Then my uncle became a pastor at Friendly Missionary Baptist Church. So that's when I really got more involved, like in the youth choir, youth group, usher board, youth usher.
What age group would you, or age would you approximately?
He became a pastor there, I think, in 2000.
Okay.
So what's that, 23 years ago? So I'm 32, so about 9.
You about 9-ish?
Yeah, 9, 10-ish. So that's when, youth choir, youth group, Sunday school when we made it on time because we was driving late, vacation Bible school, doing it all. Then my dad ended up being the choir director. So my uncle's the pastor. Obviously, his wife is the first lady. My dad is the choir director, and he just becoming a deacon. So then since my dad's directing choir, my auntie's in it, my uncle's wife, my mom is in it. My cousin plays the drums.
Also, you got the whole family.
The whole family. Then once we're old enough, then me and my sisters are in it. I got other cousins that, we black, so it's like, you're not my cousin, but you my cousin. You're not my cousin by blood, but you my cousin. So basically, the whole family's involved in church. Auntie's my other aunt's leading the youth group, so it's just like, there's no way possible to not be involved. And they were teaching us stuff. We would get scripture, but I don't think I was ever really taking it seriously to the point where I was letting it like sink in, asking those questions. I asked some questions, but I wasn't really like, how do I know I'm saved? What's this relationship with Jesus Christ look like outside of church? It's like doing everything right.
So you learned a lot about church and kind of the religious aspects of that, and just the traditions, and having fun, the fellowship, and the singing and the choir and getting involved. But when did you say you were introduced to Jesus and learning the theology and knowing Jesus for yourself? Hey, He is Lord, He is Savior. I believe in Him, the Son of God, and how that applied to your life. Like, when would you say that transformation took place in your life?
I said that didn't really happen until college.
College?
Most of the time I was living as my mentor, he gave me this term, but I don't know who coined it. Kind of living as a Christian atheist. I would claim to be a Christian, but I was living as God didn't exist. Because,
it's kind of like what Jesus said, these people that honor me with their lips,
bingo,
but their hearts are far from me.
Very much so. Because,
like that.
I didn't get to go to all the teen clubs, but I could kick it. I wanted to hang out. And then, when I was younger, still in Toledo before I got to college, I started having sex and messing around and stuff like that. Still be at church on Sunday.
High school?
Yeah. So still be at church on Sunday, but because everyone else was, everyone else was doing. So it's like, okay, I must be saved because I'm not killing anybody. I'm not robbing no banks. I ain't committing any rapes, no mass murders, no drugs or something like that. So I'm a good person.
Yeah. Man, I had the similar story, bro. So, mine started like in college, but hey, I'm cool. I thought thought I was, doing well, treating people nice. I was kind. I believed in God. I had a little sin, but I mean, everybody else was doing it, so I thought it was cool.
Exactly.
You didn't really think to anything different.
No.
How serious it was, though.
Yeah, so it wasn't until I met my mentor, Darnell. I'm Darnell J. Wilson, who's the coach of the Impact
Shout out
movement.
to Darnell.
Yeah, shout out to him. We met up. I think it was the divine connection. God brought me. I was there. I was not trying to get involved with Jesus on campus. I was really happy because I was like, man.
On campus where?
At Kent State. Sorry.
Kent
State University.
Okay.
So I was excited to go to campus. I'm like, man, it's going to be easier to mess with girls now. I don't have to ask my cousin for a ride no more. I have to worry about, her parents coming home. Hey, can you come pick me back up? Her parents about to come or none of that stuff. I'm like, we can just mess with each other, all this other stuff. I didn't heard about the parties. I'm like, it's lit. Let's go. No. Found out about VOT and this panel they were having where they were introduced, Voice of Testimony, gospel choir. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna join that because I still like the music and stuff like that.
So wait, I'm sorry, I know I'm interrupted, but
go ahead.
So you were going to college, you still believe in God and believe in Jesus. You had a church upbringing, but you were still kind of doing what you wanted.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to, like you said, get into VOT and kind of be inclined to, the gospel choir, even though you didn't really, you weren't really full out sold out for the Lord yet?
Joe, perfect question. So I've always loved music. So I think music kept me into the church sometimes, even when I wasn't necessarily always paying attention to the sermons or really taking that serious outside of the four walls. I love music. So when I saw the gospel choir, I was like, okay, I want to see about that. I can maybe do that. And then so I think when they had a meeting, that's when I heard about Impact. That's what like our sister organization. So I was like, okay, I'll go to that. And the very first meeting.
Is this where you met Darnell? I'm sorry.
No, you're 100% right. Literally, that's where I met Darnell.
At VOT, a Voice of Testimony, or at
Impact? I found out about Impact through VOT.
Okay, got you.
So then when I found out about that, I went. Me and one of my bros actually met up there for the first time. And then from there, Darnell kind of just reached out to me, put his hands out, called me, and did not let me go.
Wow.
And it wasn't until he challenged me. He sat me down one day. He's like, how do you know that you're saved? Literally, like I told you, I was like, I haven't robbed a bank. I ain't killed nobody. I'm a good person. He's like, but how do you know you're getting to heaven? And really challenging it. And
was that the first time you had a deep theological question like that about your salvation?
100%.
Yeah, that was the first time. Growing up, even in the church, auntie, uncle, cousins, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, none of my cousins was gonna ask me because they was doing the same thing. I was doing the worst. Like, I mean, Toledo, like half my cousins is Crips in Toledo, so like they came back and doing all this other stuff.
In the inner city,
for sure.
Toledo, not necessarily suburbs, but
no. So I didn't necessarily. I personally didn't live in the hood, but you got a lot of cousins, so it's like I was doing good compared to them because like I'm playing sports. Going to school, stuff like that, all the other stuff. My cousins were not like horrible people, stuff like that. Yeah. But I was me and my sister were not smoking weed. I'm not drinking. So I seem like I'm really good on paper. Still have a heart sin issue. Yeah. But on paper, I'm checking things like, okay, I'm not gang banging, not smoking, not doing any drugs. I ain't got no baby mama or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I ain't.
So according to the world standards, he's doing pretty good.
Man, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Especially for a brother.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm good. So it wasn't until that meeting with Darnell that I really started to get deeper with my relationship with God. Like, well, how do I know? And then once he really shared the gospel with me, I'm like, if this is really what everything is based on, then that kind of changes your whole dynamic, how you see things, how you operate. Because now it's not so based off of me being a good person, because really at the end of the day, I'm not. Yeah. I'm actually pretty horrible.
It's all of us, as human beings. We can do right, but all of us have that sin issue for sure. For
sure. So now, technically speaking, I actually suck. Because I'm like the dude who claims to be a Christian, but like you said, looks away, and I'm not for real. So that's when I really started to take it seriously. I started to really invest in like who is Jesus to me? Yeah. What's his relationship with God look like one-on-one? What does prayer life look like outside of church? What does fasting look like? What does time alone with God look like? Like, let me actually read the scripture, because I think before that I hadn't even read the whole Bible by then.
You were about what, 18, 19 at this time? Or?
19 for sure.
Okay.
So it's just like, okay, I should actually invest in reading more scriptures and actually learning this stuff out for sure. Yeah. And learning like, why do I believe this? Why does this make sense? Why do I follow this? How does this actually shape my life? What does this mean for me? So it's as meeting Darnell, going to Impact, going to VOT, really learning the Bible, really being held accountable to that, being challenged, that I actually grew in my faith and grew in my relationship with God, and that kind of changed my, not only just my identity, but my platform as far as where I wanted to go with my career and stuff like that. So that's where things really started to change as far as my career and positions I would take moving forward from there.
Got you. Wow. So during this time where, still in the world, believing in Jesus, but you're getting discipled, you're getting trained, you shout out to Darnell, man. He's a good brother, man. Very strong man of God, and he's basically taking you under his wing to train you and mentor you. So were you still involved in, kind of sleeping around, being promiscuous and kind of do what you was going to do, or was it a gradual process, or did it kind of just stop? Like, explain that journey a little bit.
So it was a little bit of both end. Yeah. So I did stop, but then so let's say I was going hard during the semester. I may have like one slip up during the semester. Then the school
like
year.
Freshman year in college?
Freshman year. May have like 1-2 slip ups. Then I'm good. Then I go home for the summer. I might have, mess with a woman, smash somebody, and then got a body, and then went back, and then that sophomore, between sophomore and junior year, I was like on fire.
You was on fire for God?
Didn't sleep with no woman, wasn't drinking, really wasn't.
So he was like 21 at this time?
20, going to 21, I was cool.
Okay.
Not doing nothing, really going hard for God. I got to the point where I really depended on him, because it was something about being in ROTC, because I was in the Army ROTC at that time.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yes. And so I was actually supposed to be going into the military. But I'll talk about how God changed that a little bit later. But yeah, so I had needed him. I'd be tired after PT in the morning. I shower, get in bed. I'm like, God, if you don't get me up for class, I'm not going to do God. I literally can't do this without you. And that's when I was really reading my word heavy. That's when I had my sophomore year, I think fall semester. That's when I had one of my best times ever at Kent. Like, I was on fire for God. I got all the A's that semester.
Like, what were you studying at this time?
Criminal justice with a minor in pre-law.
Okay.
So that helped out. And then I think it was my junior year, I actually started dating this girl. And that's when I slowly started to fall off, because that's when I started to have, started having sex again, started messing around. And then I took a step back.
Backslid a little bit.
Was sure.
Was she in, I don't want to
No, you
reveal her identity, but was she Impact, or would she say she believes in God?
We met through the church. So she wasn't involved on Kent's campus. We met through the church I was attending.
Okay.
And she was cool people, still solid people. So we're still friends later on to this day. Obviously, the relationship has changed, but we're still positive friends. But that started happening, so then I started taking, like you said, a backward slide, falling back into old habits. So eventually I took a step back, me and Darnell, because I was upfront and honest with him at one point, because I'll be honest with him if he asks me certain questions. All right, okay, you're gonna get the answer. Yeah. So then, I took a step back from being out front in ministry, kind of to refocus myself with my personal relationship with God, and focus on graduation. Because by that time we're going into like senior year, graduation, still messing around a little bit, but eventually me and her stop, we break it off, and then that's when I ended up meeting the woman I would end up marrying, later divorcing, but a little bit after graduation is when we actually start dating.
Okay, got you. So thanks for spelling out that journey from Toledo to Kent State.
For sure.
For really getting convicted in your faith, but also getting discipled and growing in your faith with Jesus through the Word of God, and through putting your faith into action, right? But,
yeah.
Just like with most men, myself included, sometimes women, that lust of the flesh is something, bro.
It's like, no joke, for real.
You can be good on fire for Jesus, and I'm good for God, but man, that flesh acts up, and then you see somebody attractive, y'all liking each other, and at that time, 19, 20, trying to do right, but them desires can get the best of you.
Yeah.
But God is graceful, and He's very merciful that He didn't leave you, in that. So, no, man, that's a blessing. So you talked about how you were then, getting ready to transition to the military.
Yeah.
And you're getting ready to graduate. So explain that journey. Did you end up deploying or serving in the military, or like this time you're in your senior year, you took a step back, growing your relationship with the Lord again. And so what happened after that?
So basically, that a little bit of that started junior year. So essentially, in the ROTC program, when you reach about junior year, that's when you're supposed to go to what they call LDAC, which is your Leadership Development Assessment course. So all the juniors, between the summer of their junior year and going to their senior year, they all go to the state of Washington, and basically you can compete, in a sense, in a series of not just events, but like, I'll say tactical stuff.
Washington State?
Were
you Army State. Or?
Army,
You're Army ROTC?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so while you're in this Leadership Development Assessment course, LDAC, you basically get ranked from 1 to however many juniors it is, so 1 to 1,000, 1 to 2,000, whatever.
And I'm sorry, is this juniors from all around the country, different universities?
Yes, juniors all over America.
Okay.
We're supposed to go there, you get assessed and stuff like that, and then that's when you kind of figure out where you'll get deployed from there, based off your rank.
Gotcha.
Based off your rank, you got a better chance. The higher you are up to an extent, the better chance you have of getting your top 2 choices.
Okay.
So what had happened is, while we're filling out paperwork for that junior year, I had to write down, I answered the questions. Honestly, I told them I had used an inhaler recently because I have asthma.
Okay.
Now, the gag is I technically passed the test from the doctor that said I didn't have asthma, so they could get me into the Army ROTC, because you can't have asthma in the military.
Wait, so somebody kind of rigged that a little bit?
I wouldn't even say rigged that, but I passed the test, so they gave me this test.
Oh, passed it. Okay.
And I bloated. And so technically speaking, I was fine. I had never been using an inhaler, but what had happened is junior year, we'd be outside early in the morning for PT. It'd be like 30 degrees, but it's like, we're going to run. Well, no offense, but I'm black, like Wakanda black. So
you said Wakanda black.
Yeah.
Not just black, Wakanda black.
So we don't do that. We don't go outside no 30-degree weather early in the morning.
Well, the Kenyans do, you know, Ethiopians, but anyway.
The distance.
Well, that's different weather, but
yeah. So
anyway,
I was getting sick, so I had not been using my inhaler. So it was one time. Matter of fact, impact with Darnell.
Okay.
We're praying, and I think I had just not been resting. My body had started to had enough. So my chest was like dumb tight. Like it was just like to the point where it's hard to breathe. And we were praying like in an impact, and I'm starting crying. So Darnell ended up taking me to the hospital, and like
you're crying out of pain or because you felt the Holy Spirit moving?
No, it was pain. It was pain.
Okay.
It was definitely pain. I wish it was the Holy Spirit moving. But so he took me to the hospital, and they hooked me into some saline, and I started to eventually the pain starts to decrease. But they tell me like, I need to take a break from PT, because I was not only going to PT in the Army, but I'll be doing PT in the Army and working out, hitting the weights on my own, because you don't get better at PT by just going to PT. So I was doing that. I was singing in 2 different choirs at the time. I was singing in the Voice of Testimony Gospel Choir.
Man, you're doing a lot, bro.
Yeah, and Kent State's Gospel Choir, while still trying to do impacts and a whole bunch of other stuff, like trying to live life and all this other stuff. So it's just like I was burning the candle at 6 different ends, not just both ends.
Were you feeling that on you at the time?
For sure.
Yeah.
So I even dropped a class the junior year because it was just like too much. I think I had like 21 credits to start.
Bro, that's way too much, dude. You was trying to do it all.
Yes.
We only have a finite ability to do so much, man.
I was trying to do it all.
But you learned that the hard way.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then at the same time, I ended up going, I had, I think, a follow appointment at like the medical center at Kent State. So I went there.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, why aren't you using your inhaler? Because she saw I had asthma. She saw my history. And I was like, I don't need it, man. I'm cool. And she was like, well, that's crazy. I'm paraphrasing. She told a story like there's a woman or dude who passed away. And had he had his inhaler, he would have lived. So she told me a story about it. And I was just like, you know what, go ahead and give me that inhaler real quick. I'll take that inhaler right now.
That don't sound too bad. On second thought.
So then I had to tell them that I use an inhaler. So then when they found out, it's like, whoa, red flag when I was filling my ROTC paperwork, red flag, using an inhaler, or you got asthma. So now I'm having all these meetings with people. There's like, well, why didn't you tell us? Why did you use an inhaler?
So just to reiterate, if you have asthma and use an inhaler, does that mean you cannot serve in the military or ROTC or Army? What does that mean?
Ideally, they don't know, because what happened and what would be in my case is like if you go overseas, you're in a mission, and you have an asthma attack and things start to go wrong,
it's like a liability.
And then, that's a liability, because now you're in danger, everyone else is put in danger, and it's not like the mission was failed because we had the wrong information and we failed. It's just like you have an asthma attack, so you can't do anything. So that's a liability.
Right.
So what they're thinking now is like, if that happens, it's going to come down to who let this guy in, and it's just going to be a snowball effect. So they were trying to find a way where I did something wrong. They're just like, well, did you go to different doctors? I was like, no, I've been going to the same doctor. This stuff like that. So eventually it comes to the summer, because they have to figure it out. So this is the summer between my junior and senior year when I was supposed to go to that thing. It didn't end up going because I was put on hold. And my lieutenant colonel was like, well, if you want to be in this, I'll fight for you. They want to allow you in, but they're allowing you to get a medical discharge, which basically means I'll be discharged, but not dishonorably or honorably, just be medical.
Okay.
So that is going to be good, because then now I don't have to pay me the money back, because they're paying for school and they paid me.
Oh, so you potentially would have to pay the money back if it didn't go through the proper procedure. And you had to,
yes.
Oh, man.
Sure.
So you was on ROTC scholarship at school?
Mm-hmm. ROTC scholarship, and they were paying me.
Oh, wow.
So I was getting dough. And a few times I won scholarships, because, again, it's funny, like asthma got me out, but I was one of the top cadets. So I had earned money, like extra scholarships, because I scored the highest in PT.
Wow.
Like I was one of the dudes who didn't have to go to PT every day because I could get a score for 300 on the PT test. Still have asthma though. So it's just like.
Were you still pretty athletic and fit at the time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dang, so you had asthma, you had aspirations to go into the military, you was killing it in PT, but unfortunately, the asthma derailed your plans to go into the
And so honestly speaking, it was never like I just wanted to go in the Army growing up.
Yeah.
Because my dad was in it, my mom was in it. I felt like I was in the Army living at home.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the only way I knew to pay for school.
Okay.
Because I was supposed to go to Tiffin. I had like a president's scholarship from them for like some money.
Yeah.
I was good academically, but I wanted to run track. But my time was not fast enough to go there.
Okay.
I had another school in like Tennessee or Kentucky who was trying to offer me a scholarship for cross country, but I'm like,
you're not a distance runner?
No, I was like, you just want to get your black numbers up. I'm not even that good at cross country. Like I was literally way better at track.
Did you do cross country in high school?
Once, senior year. So I don't know how they wanted me. I was like, I only did this once. They were trying to offer me some money, and they was like, well, we don't have a track program yet, but we can try and build it. Maybe like build it around you.
Build their program.
But I was just like, nah, man, I'm not going to run cross country, dude. That's dead.
Gotcha.
So I didn't have any other options really. This was the only way to kind of get to school. So then when this kind of happened and it all planned out the way it did, I was like, you know what, I'm cool. I think like God's pulling me in another direction. When really, sometime during junior year, I went to that gazebo downtown Kent, and I was frustrated. Like I said, with everything I had going on, I feel like I hit my boiling point straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. So this is junior year, going into your senior year.
Yeah.
You're finding out that, okay, Army is a no-go.
Yeah.
And then you're still kind of balancing everything between the gospel choir, impact.
Oh, so no, this is before. So this.
Oh, okay.
So by the time when I'm downtown in Kent praying, I'm asking God, like, God, you either got to help me pass ROTC because I'm struggling with the swim test, struggling with this land navigation, not doing well. I was like, I know you called me to serve you. Now I know fully because it's been revealed to me. I've talked to my pastor and my mentor. I've talked to my mentor Darnell, Pastor Glass's fan, and I've been told, okay, I'm called to be a pastor. That's what you called me to do. But God, I can't serve you and serve the military. And right now, I feel like I feel like the military is my God right now. The way I have to give all my attention and time and focus to it, and I can't really give that to you.
Wow.
So I was like, God, either you got to help me pass these tests in ROTC so I can actually start serving you, or you got to take me out, one way or the other. And I was like, if you take me out, I'll go hard for you. Nobody's business, no problem, no questions asked. So then when I ended up getting out of it, and I was like, you're not gonna pay any money back. I was like, oh, well, here we are now. I actually I have to fulfill this word now. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I did.
Yeah, God. What's it say? A man plans his way, but God orders our steps.
Yes.
You asked him for wisdom, and He revealed it. And
look,
you know what He wants you to do. He made that way happen.
Yeah, and it's just like crazy. I think the whole reason I was other doors were closed, especially for trying to run track, or why I didn't want to run cross country at that one school, and why Kent was option for ROTC, was so that I would get plugged in and really start to come to find my calling. Because had I went to a school I wanted to go to and ran track, or had I went to that school and ran cross country, I would have not been trying to figure out my walk with Christ at all.
So Jesus knew in His omnipotence, His infinite wisdom, and just where to place you in a specific time to get the training and discipleship and get everything in line of when He could meet you at.
Yeah, literally.
So you saw Him ordering your steps.
Yes.
In retrospect, it all worked out for, the good, huh?
Oh, definitely. Because again, if I'd have been running track, I'd have been focused on girls. It'd have been a wrap. I might have had a baby or something like that, way soon. So.
Well, no, you might not even be on this couch right now, bro.
Probably not. If we're being honest, probably not. So.
Yeah.
The way that all worked out was just definitely God's plan. So then once that started happening, then again, senior year, I'm going hard for God again. Still having a little bit of slip-ups here and there with sex and messing around with women, but not huge, but still, I have spurts from doing good, fall, doing good, fall. It wasn't until maybe like a little bit after I graduated 2014, 2015, I started meeting my ex at that time was about to be my future wife. Okay. And that's when I was like, okay, no more sex, because especially when dating her, we're gonna do this the right way, and we're gonna try and go the way, not have sex before marriage at all.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's a smooth transition into our next topic. Let's talk about a little bit about relationships. You dabbled into relationships in college, but now you were once married, right? At some point in time. We're gonna talk a little bit about that and how that journey went. All right.